Okay, President Trump, the Board of Peace announcing a historic breakthrough in Gaza, saying Hamas has agreed to a roadmap for complete disarmament and the transfer of governance and security responsibilities to a new Palestinian administration.
The plan is expected to move into implementation in the coming weeks, following months of difficult and delicate negotiations over how to end the war and transfer control of that territory. Now, the Board of Peace highlighting the agreement on X, writing the deal, quote, holds the promise of delivering significant benefits to the people of Gaza, who have waited for too long for a better future, and security to the people of Israel.
But the agreement is far from a done deal. Hamas says its disarmament is conditional on Israel fulfilling its own commitments, including a military withdrawal. Israel, meanwhile, has raised concerns about withdrawing before Hamas is fully disarmed. The plan envisions a phased process that could take about 8 months with international monitoring and verification. Our Middle East correspondent Zach Anders, he's in Tel Aviv with more on this story. Zach.
From Tel Aviv tonight, the deal brokered by the President's Board of Peace. Egypt, Qatar, and Turkey taking the lead. It's the first time the Board of Peace has put forward a long-awaited framework for Hamas to give up all their weapons, and Palestinian Islamic Jihad, the other terror group as well. Hamas would even have to turn over maps of their tunnels. Now, the president calls it, quote, a monumental step toward lasting peace and security. There are sources around the White House saying he's going to be very upset, disappointed, if Israel comes out opposing this plan. And at this point, short of anonymous quotes in Israeli or Gaza media, both Hamas and Israeli top leadership, they've yet to officially react. A Hamas official did confirm to the BBC that they agreed to the disarmament plan, but they're saying they would have to wait until Israel withdraws from Gaza first before they'd hand over the weapons. That's a move Jerusalem has already said it won't do. The Israeli position's been the same since the ceasefire, that withdrawal will only happen after Hamas surrenders their weapons. We heard from the president again today that if this plan is carried out, the plan would call for an international force and a newly trained Palestinian police to take over security, a phased months-long plan, and the weapons would be handed over at warehouses guarded by this international force. There's still some really big questions about what that looks like. Hamas is saying to the BBC that, one, they won't withdraw, or they won't allow for their disarmament until the IDF withdraws, but also that they want those weapons that they hand over to stay in Gaza so that they could still get to them if they feel that the agreement had been broken, which that's another thing that Israel likely not going to agree with. I spoke to someone in Gaza who is telling me that believes that this is one of those things that have to wait until you see it, doesn't support Hamas. What he has been telling me, though, is that he hopes there's a plan B for people to have the option, if this does not work, to be able to go on the Israeli-controlled side of Gaza, which they control about 50%, and allow for people to go through screening and then live on the other side and have that choice, because the conditions, obviously, in Gaza are still very dire for a lot of people. From Tel Aviv, Zach Anders, NEWSMAX.